So let's get to it. We already told you earlier in the week, yesterday, when you weren't around, I think you were gallivanting or doing something.
That's
I don't know. I mean, I think I saw something, speaking of money, that I guess you did the opening bell at the New York Stock Exchange. Well done. I'm not surprised. I mean, you only dressed down just so the rest of us feel better.
Made sure I fired up the crowd. I got him into it.
Okay. So, we already told you this week Rutgers lost $70.3 million. Told that to you yesterday. We told you yesterday that Ohio State lost $37.7 million. This is fiscal year to June 30th, 2024. We then told you that Texas, even though they led the nation in spending, also led in revenue and made $5.2 million. Penn State's financial report is right there. It is Penn State made just about $5.5 million. Now, again, athletics is not a for-profit enterprise. I think all of you think it is, but it's not. It's not supposed to be, hey, we're going to make $100 million. We're going to put it in a Swiss bank account, recommended by Jason Lord.
That's right.
And then we're going to just get all the interest and what? No. You're supposed to make, if you do it right, which Penn State is, in that $5 to $10 million range, somewhere in there where it becomes a rainy day fund for you. And as we've pointed out many times in COVID, it was a monsoon. All right? So Penn State for fiscal year ending 2024, ends up in the black on the plus side. And we'll get to the individuals in a moment. All right? So, next year, now remember, this was the first year in the reporting year of the new TV contracts. But, here's the caveat to all this. The CBS deal, the TV contract is backloaded. So this will be the lowest reporting year on the TV side for Big Ten schools. It also is the year that did not include USC and UCLA. And again, remember, Oregon and Washington is in on half shares. They don't count in this. The TV deal that was put together that they are playing with now was the one with USC and UCLA in it. Okay? Fox is fronting the Oregon and Washington numbers for the next 5 seasons. All right? Okay, so let's at least get that out there. Okay? So this was the last year of a Big Ten contract in this reporting that was 14 schools. The next one that will come out about a year from now will include 2 elements. It will include USC and UCLA being in it, which means the contract will go up. And it will include CBS going from doing half of the SEC and half of the Big Ten to doing all of the Big Ten. That'll be a year from now. So there'll be additional revenue there on the TV side because of the natural contract going up anyway and CBS going from a half to a full. Also 1 year from now, you will have in it the Playfly contract, media rights. Penn State's media rights, I'm not going to give you the number because that would be wrong of me to do as an employee of both. But I can tell you that the number doubled. Okay? It doubled. So that is not reflected. This contract reflects Learfield still being the rights holder. Next year will reflect the Playfly is the rights holder, and the number doubled. So those are the pluses, plus the college football playoff distribution is about to get much higher. Okay? Now let's get to the negative parts of it. Okay? That will come up next year. Number one will be you have to pay $20.5 million to athletes. Okay?
Yep.
So you're going to have to make up for it somewhere, but it's going to be in there. And you're going to start, as part of this settlement, which will come out on April 7th, you're going to start feeling a little bit of the effect of the NCAA basketball distribution decreasing, not tremendously, but slightly, because that's how they're making up for the back payments on the NCAA distribution to former athletes. Right? Okay. With that aside, Penn State ends up $5.5 million in the plus. How? Football. 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 And in the fiscal year that ended June 30th, 2024, 2 sports made money. Nobody else came close. Now the particulars. First of all, your salary is awfully high.
Yeah, all those expenses weren't completely accounted for just yet. Once those come in a little bit more, that salary becomes IOUs.
You really thought that, like, on the road, that you'd buy the entire Sonic restaurant food for everybody that night?
Yeah.
You thought that was a great expense?
Yeah, absolutely. That's
because I'm going to what would be the highbrow places for you. I mean, Sonic would be your place.
Sure. I have never once been inside a Sonic, believe it or
Neither
not.
have I.
I have not.
I've never been. I've never had a Sonic anything in my life.
Nope, I have
but
not.
I always make fun of it.
Yeah.
Okay, so football. The revenue take, when you put everything together, was $113 million plus. This is why you invest. You always invest in the entities of your company that make money.
Absolutely.
Okay? Again, I grew up in a household that had a business. In fact, my brother still runs it. Okay? So I at least have a feel in life why you invest in certain things. You know, things that my father taught me along the way. Okay? My father was not a college graduate, but as my grandmother said, my father should have gone to college. They could only afford one. You know, he grew up on a farm, you know, and so so his older brother went. And by the way, it's since passed away, but my uncle did extremely well for himself too, running a business. But my father started this thing from scratch, and he would invest money to make money. I need this machine. That's the way I need to move forward. He'd buy it with the idea they'd make up for it. You invest to make. So football, $113 million. That's why you invest in football all the time. That's why you look out and a head football coach says to his athletic director, this is the person I've identified that I think is the best to lead my defense. And the athletic director looks at him and says, okay, go do it. Because you're investing in what you think is the pathway to success. Okay? You have to invest money to make money. All the time. You can't, and don't sit there and don't do what the Pac-12 did with the Stanford professor, with all the practical skills of this wall. Told me we're going to make $40 million from TV. That's their valuation. It's not the real world.
Nope.
So 113 is what they made. They spent 64.4. So in the end, $51 million in profit. The only other profitable one was men's basketball. Last year they made $11.9 million. They spent 11.2, so on the plus side by $700,000, so just shy of $1 million. Okay. After that, this will tell you everything you need to know on expenses in athletics. All right? Everything you need to know. Men's ice hockey. Pagula is sold out left and right. But there's an expense ledger. So they got $4.6 million in revenue when it was all said and done. That's great. Okay? Which I think is the third highest revenue producer.
It's
of
top
anybody.
5 for sure. Yeah. Yep.
Well, I think at Penn State, I think it's
It's
third.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's one I didn't put down here. That's my fault. I got to look that one up. Guess which one I left out?
Something that, let me think. You got the main ones.
Yeah, except I didn't put women's basketball in here.
Oh yeah, okay. Yep. Well, yeah. In terms of revenue and expense, yeah. One's going to be greater than the other.
Yeah. No, I understand that, but it's like you need to.
Yep.
Because I do want to go. For example, at some point, I want to go to Iowa and see what they did expense versus revenue last year.
Oh yeah. That's a good. That's a very good one.
Right. Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, because obviously women's basketball as a whole is, you saw that last year.
Women's basketball as a whole, people are watching it, but it's not making money.
No. Losing significant money.
Yeah. And it's something that, for whatever reason, ESPN, I know they have a contract with them, but they won't talk about it.
No,
they won't talk about it. So men's basketball makes $700,000. Men's ice hockey lost $700,000. And I'll be honest with you, I don't ever remember that happening.
No, I don't. I'm surprised by those numbers.
Now, have I seen them like maybe 200,000? Okay, right. Maybe make 200,000, maybe lose 200,000, whatever. Okay. But I've seen that. Okay? Next, women's volleyball. Now, this is not the national championship year. It's not the national championship year. Remember, this goes to June 30th, 2024.
2024. Yeah.
They lost $1.3 million. Now, I only bring them up because I'm bringing up an ultra-successful program in women's volleyball. Ultra successful, okay? And then here's the one that is going to make heads spin. Wrestling, and there's areas of wrestling. Like, for example, the wrestling camp makes more money, for example, than any other camp on the campus. It's phenomenal. I think it's like I think they put in the reporting line $613,000. Man, that's great.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, like, not good. That's phenomenal. Okay? Wrestling last year their revenue was $2.4 million. Their expenses, $4.4 million. Wrestling lost $2 million last year. Look, it's just the expense of doing business. Mm-hmm. And how many times have you heard me say, I could care less if wrestling loses a dime or loses $2 million. It's the best program in the country, and when you add everything up together, you're on the plus side of life. Make sure they have what they need.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Right? Wrestling does so much for this university in terms of the pride people feel, the excellence, everything. Right? Everything. And I mean, that's phenomenal. Okay, I think I found the other one. I think I found it.
All right.
Okay. But you see what I'm saying. Who cares?
Absolutely.
Like, who cares?
Well, yeah, and especially absolutely. Because especially when it comes to, from a recruiting perspective, and James Franklin made this point, I might paraphrase it a little bit, but he made the direct point of, they lost a recruit because, these athletes, football didn't have separate rooms. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that will lose you money over time because the word is out. And that's where the investment comes in. You got to spend money to make money, and that's exactly where you see this kind of stuff coming in. And from a wrestling perspective, same thing. You got to have the best facilities. You have to pump money into that kind of stuff because you're competing with national programs that are in the same boat you're in.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. So now I did get the women's basketball number. And look, I'm not picking on people here.
No, and it's the reality of it.
I'm not picking on. This is not picking on groups or whatever.
No.
But you as a fan should know what's going on here.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Nobody reports this stuff.
No. And it's also a prime example of understanding fully what the football program does bring in, because it's funding everything else that is losing. That's the other part of it that is being not looked at by a lot of people on the outside. I'm not saying everybody. There are a lot of people that do, but there are some that definitely do not. And you hear from them.
Right. Now, does wrestling have other ways of making money? Yes, they do.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. From an individual perspective, absolutely too.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
sure.
I'm just telling you revenue versus expenses on this report. I'm not.
Certainly.
Okay. For example, like, for example, men's basketball could do a better job of contributions. Football's fine on contributions. Other sports, and I think wrestling's a big part of this, gets a lot of money from contributions. Ding, ding, ding. Media rights. I'll get to the women's basketball number in a moment. God, your name is in here several times. My goodness. I feel like you're gaming the system. My goodness. I mean, there's bowl expenses in here.
Sure.
This is to go to the Peach Bowl last year.
Yep. Well, that's Peach Bowl. Yep.
Bowl expenses $3.6 million. Football bowl expenses for coaching $1 million. But again, we made $5 million. What are you worried about? Let's see. Ding, 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 ding. What else is here? Memberships and dues. You're in here on that line. Medical expenses. You're on that line.
I was going to say on top of that list, yeah.
Athletic facilities, debt service. Okay. You can do that. That's fine. Sports camps. Expenses. No big deal there. Now, these are general. Like they have for football, men's basketball, women's basketball, then it's listed other sports. So, I can't tell you. You're here under support staff. You're here under coaching salaries.
That's right.
Football bowl revenue. So, that's it's split 14 ways in the Big Ten. See, that's going to change. The college football playoff distribution, like college football playoff in this report is $7.8 million, which is what I thought it would be. I believe when they go to the new contract, that could get as high as 21. Okay. Media rights. Here we go. $42.1 million media rights. Okay. NCAA distributions. Football gets none. All right. Men's basketball got $1.9 million. Everybody else came to $19,975, something like that. Like I don't like people think, well, they won the NCAA wrestling championship, so they made a lot of money. Let's say it gets like $48,000 for the NCAA wrestling championship. They don't get much of anything.
No, you pay probably more than that in your expenses going there.
Yep. So, God, Rick Lewis has to do a lot of numbers, man. He puts all this stuff in there. So, okay, women's basketball, just so you know. Revenue, $635,000. Expenses, $5.3 million. They lost $4.7 million. Now, that media rights number is going to go up. And the media rights number is going to go up in two areas. It's going to go up because, again, the Big Ten number is going to go up because CBS did a full Big Ten schedule instead of half.
Yep.
It's also going to go up because now the USC-UCLA part of the contract starts to kick in. You make moves to make money. By bringing them in, everybody got a bigger slice of the pie. In other words, you didn't sit there and, like, let's just pick a number that's easy. 10, let's pick 14 million. And every school got $1 million.
Yep.
And now you bring two in. Well, now you're not going to get. Now it's going to be sliced up 16 ways, unless they bring so much value that suddenly 14 million becomes, I don't know, 32 million, and everybody's getting, right, 2 million per, right? Those are just small numbers, right? But it's just easy for everybody to figure out. Well, that's when Penn State came in, everything went up for everybody. Everybody got a bigger slice of the pie. And when Nebraska came in because of the Big Ten championship game, everybody got a bigger slice. Rutgers and Maryland, I know it sounds miraculous, but everybody actually did get a bigger slice of the pie. And that was in part because of the number of TV sets.
Yeah, TV sets.
Carrying
regional, absolutely.
BTN.
Yeah, that was a big part of it. There's no doubt.
Well, now you bring in Southern California, and the media rights deal went way up. So it's backloaded based on the 20.5 to 22 million that you're going to have to pay out, which is the max number. You're going to need that money. And as I mentioned before, Penn State's Learfield money, which would be in this contract, right? That number with Playfly will double. Okay. So you've got revenue on the media rights side coming in, and eventually, I believe next year is going to be the last year of the college football playoff. Now, there'll be more in it because Indiana, Ohio State, Oregon, and Penn State, and because of the runs made by Ohio State and Penn State, where the two of them combined for 7 rounds, okay? Big Ten had 9 rounds of the Big Ten of the college football playoff this year. Okay. And Penn State and Ohio State combined for 7 of them. I think each school, if I'm doing my math correctly, and again, I don't know what the Oregon-Washington thing is. I don't know what their number is, but each school should get an additional $2 million if my math is correct, right, on top of what that number is. Right? Then the new contract kicks in the year after for the 26th season, and now everybody's number goes way up. Okay. So you've got revenue coming in. Now, there's going to be obviously debt service on the stadium and construction and things like that and how that's put together. But again, why are you doing the stadium? Look, if they'd done the stadium when they first talked about it, and there are reasons why they did. This is not a criticism of anybody, but I said that at the time. The sooner they do it, the better, because the cost is going to go way up. And I said $400 million is going to become $1 billion if you're not careful. Well, it's going to be $750 million when it's all said and done as a top out number. Maybe hopefully it comes in a little less than that. We'll see. But that's going to be, again, an investment in the future of the program. So the other thing that I'll give you one that Ohio State ran into is because they fired Chris Holtman, they had to pay a buyout of $9 million. Okay. And that was part of their $37.7 million loss.
I say, yeah, they lost. It was 37. I thought it was around there. Yep.
37.7. So Yeah. I was looking for Iowa just to see if they put theirs out. Everything is up to 2024, so I don't think they've put it out yet. Yeah. Yeah, one time they had a $42 million deficit. Then they had record revenues a year ago, but not now. But that's, it's always curious. Every time I bring this out, there's certain groups get mad about it. No, it's like, well, what are you mad about? All I'm doing is reading you numbers.
Pretty much facts, exactly.
But I'm reading you numbers.
Yeah,
it's not. I'm not. This is not.
There's nothing that is opinionated out of any of this.
I am trying to tell everybody what the economic reality is in college sports. Why do you okay?
Yeah.
Why is parking X amount?
Yeah.
Why are tickets X amount? What is the actual media distribution? How does that work? I mean, it's all he's trying to do. I'm not trying to do anything.
Yeah.
Nothing. Okay? I'm just trying to tell you what the numbers say. Here's your expenses. Here's your revenue. How did it turn out?
Yeah.
Okay?
Literally.
I mean, that's all it is. And I don't know.
No.
It's
people can look up numbers. It's not. This is literally factual.
But again,
it's not that it's. I think people sometimes.
This is not trying to protect your turf or anything.
No.
I'm not trying to tell anybody what the turf is. I'm just telling you, here's the reality. I'm sorry, it's the way it goes. And I've said a billion times, I don't care how much money they lose on a particular sport as long as they end up in the black overall. Exactly. Who cares? I don't care.
Yeah. And that's the first thing you say to somebody, hey, wrestling lost $2 million. Well, they won a national championship. Okay.
That's all I care.
That matters.
That's all I care.
Exactly.
In other words,
it's not as if it's, it's literally, you're just stating numbers. Yeah, everything, if Penn State football becomes in the red, then we have big problems. That's never happening. But you're in big problems then if that happens.
Exactly.
Because then you're not funding everything else that is losing money.
Exactly.
You're getting the money to fund what is losing the money because of what is bringing in the money. And that's the factual part of this. Penn State wrestling wins national championship, yes. Penn State hockey wins games, absolutely. Men's basketball on the rise, absolutely. Women's basketball getting better.
Care.
None of that matters when it comes to a number like this. That's the point of it. What matters the most is what you do in the field, as long as you're making money in terms of overall as an athletic department.
If the overall deal, which I'm talking about, ends up in the black,
right?
I don't care how much your sport loses.
Exactly.
I don't care. Right? I just want you to win. Right? I just want you to win. And that's what I want Penn State wrestling to win. I want Cale to get whatever he needs as long as the whole picture ends up on the plus side.
Absolutely.
And it's people. How do you? I'm just telling you the numbers.
It's literally, you're reading numbers. That's the thing that
words,
I don't understand. What's even debatable about it? Like it's not something that you're not giving opinion beyond any of these numbers.
Don't you, as a fan, feel like at least you're entitled to know that what numbers you're investing in, what it ends up looking like?
No question about it. For goodness sake, we were in a area where it was a absolute fight to get Joe Paterno's salary out there. People wanted to hear it. Okay, now you're getting numbers on a yearly basis here.
Right. And what? Just because the numbers didn't turn out the way you hoped? I mean, to me, that is the wrestling example is a great example. Okay. And the reason I say it's a great example is this: they sell out everything.
Absolutely.
The popularity of it is wild and fun and great. But when you don't have the media rights deals,
right,
okay, or the NCAA distributions and things like that, because they're getting like $48,000 from the NCAA.
Right.
Oh, no, it's got, and on TV it's so popular. No, I mean, it's doing okay on TV.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
But you're not, you don't have the media deals that are putting you on Fox or CBS or
you're not,
NBC.
Right, you're not getting that, okay? Your radio deal, okay, you're on one station. Okay. Well, what the media rights deal? They should reflect what? Reflect what?
Exactly.
I mean, the media rights deal was put out to make sure. Yeah, but what's women's basketball on 2-3 stations?
Probably around there. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Right. Men's basketball is on like 40 plus. Football's on like 60, and football and men's basketball are both on Sirius XM.
Uh-huh. Also on national TV on a nightly basis.
Right, yeah, but again, Penn State basketball's on TV 31 times a year. Yeah. Well, let's take out the BTN Plus games. What, 27 times a year?
Yeah.
Which is more than any other program. Right? Football speaks for itself.
Yeah.
Football speaks for itself. But, that's the way it is. I mean, it's the media rights deals are the ones that throw you over the top.
Sure.
Right. Now, as I pointed out next year, the pluses will be the CBS part kicks in, the USC UCLA thing kicks in. Oregon and Washington don't matter in that part of it. Okay. All right. So CBS, more money. USC UCLA part now kicks in for the first time, more money. Okay. You've got one more year of the college football playoff, then it really kicks in. Now you're going to get more money out of the college football playoff because of what Ohio State and Penn State did. Okay, so everybody's going to get more in the Big Ten. But then the big money kicks in the year after that. Okay, that kicks in. Okay? And the negatives, in terms of like what will drain or you'll get less from, you will get less from the NCAA men's basketball distribution. Not a big hit, but it should start to happen because, again, that's the back settlement money in the House deal. It doesn't hurt a Penn State. It doesn't hurt an Ohio State. Okay? I mean, it's a hit by, I don't know, probably 100,000, 200,000 a year, whatever. Okay? But it hurts the Bucknells of the world.
Uh-huh. Absolutely.
Right? They get one bid.
Uh-huh.
Okay, they have to split it up on 10 teams in the Patriot League, right? And they got to split it up 10 ways, and they're going to get slightly less. I mean, it hurts because that's like the ball game for the Bucknells of the world. Smaller schools are going to be really hurt by the NCAA distribution part in the settlement of House on the back pay to athletes from 2017 to 2023. Okay. But so you'll get less there, and there's going to be the money paid to athletes starting in the fall. Now, that won't be reflected. I'm trying to think. That will not be reflected in next year's report. It'll be 2 years from now. Okay, next year's report will go up to 2025. So the money paid to athletes will not be in that report. I would say the NCAA distribution reduction will not be in that report because Judge Claudia Wilkin won't sign off on until April 7th. So those two won't be in. Also, the massive number in the next contract for the college football playoff won't be there, but there will be an increase because of what Ohio State and Penn State did. And the doubling, the CBS part doubling, and then USC, UCLA, that'll be in. And the Playfly number will be in there for the first time, which doubled from Learfield. Which is going to be
massive, much bigger than Learfield.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that will be in. So next year's report will be fine. Also, next year's report, in all likelihood, will not contain any buyout money. Tom Allen left on his own.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So That's not there. Like, for example, Mike didn't, and then they brought in Andy. So there had to be a buyout on Mike, but I'm sure somewhere based on contract of some sort. Like talking about it's not about like Chris Holtman, $9 million. It's not like that. But there shouldn't be any of that in there. And then the year after is where there's going to be more media distribution, more college football playoff distribution by a wide margin. I mean, almost tripling. Right? 2.5 times more at least.
More, yep.
Okay? That's where you probably start to see the first of the slight reduction in the NCAA tournament money. The play money would already be there, but that's where the $20.5 million would come in on athletes for the first time in 2 years. Next year won't reflect that.
No, because it wraps up before.
It won't reflect that.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's where we are, and yeah, and all I'm doing here is doing plus minus based on what they report. Okay, I don't really need to get well, but just don't. Okay, add and subtract. Okay.
Right.
Okay, after that, fine. I'm sure there are other ways of getting money and so forth, but this has nothing to do with being critical of anything. I'm just telling you what the reality is. Okay? They put out the numbers.
Absolutely.
If you don't like the numbers, I'm sorry. I don't. I'm not the one that made up the numbers. I just am telling you what the numbers are. I don't know. You can't be. You can love your sport, but don't get so wrapped up in it. Who cares? What? Because it doesn't tell the story you want it to tell? For goodness sakes, we tell your story all the time about how great it is. And Friday night's going to be another chapter in how great it is. They're going to sell that place out. They're going to have to wedge people in there, and it's going to be great. It's going to be fun, and I think Penn State's going to win at least 8 out of 10 bouts in this thing, and I think it's going to be one of those signature nights for the sport that's going to be fabulous. That's all I care about. It's a great sport with the best coach. It's phenomenal. It's beyond words. The crowds are great. Team's awesome. That's all I care about. Right? I love going to one. Okay. Hockey game? Love going to a hockey game.
Sure.
Love going over to Pagola, watching hockey. It's great. It's like I love going to wrestling. Love it. How fortunate are we get to see this. Right? Just because I report numbers when they come out every year, it's because it's interesting to some people. Okay. Okay. So, an Eagles fan did die after falling from a pole in the celebration. Hate that.
Absolutely.
Here's one of the great moments in sports. New York Yankees owner Hal Steinbrenner was asked about the Dodgers. The Dodgers have spent more than $450 million guaranteed this offseason. Their luxury tax is now $390 million. That actually helps the Pirates out. With penalties for exceeding the $241 million threshold, the Dodgers' total payroll this year will likely exceed $500 million. Hal Steinbrenner said, quote, "It's difficult for most of us owners to be able to do the kinds of things that they're doing. We'll see if it pays off."
Well, it paid off already last year.
Over here in the back, who's the defending champion? I mean, I'm just asking for friends. I'm just wondering.
Who'd they beat again in that World Series?
Yeah. The Yankees currently have Major League Baseball's third highest luxury tax payroll at just under $303 million. The Phillies are second at $308.
Not a surprise.
Okay.
Not surprised at all.
The Yankees were listed in March 2024 by Forbes. You're a subscriber, right?
Oh, you bet. And Wall Street Journal. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
You betcha.
The Yankees are the most valuable franchise in Major League Baseball, worth an estimated $7.55 billion. The Dodgers are second at $5.45 billion. Okay. The Dodgers' latest free agent acquisition was reliever Kirby Yates. 1 year, $13 million. The Dodgers have also signed Blake Snell, Tanner Scott, Rosie Sasaki, okay, Michael Conforto, and Hyseon Kim. They re-signed Teoscar Hernandez, Blake Trinan, and a multi-year extension for former State College Spike Tommy Edman. Steinbrenner, whose Yankees lost to the Dodgers in last year's World Series, added Tuesday that Los Angeles' busy offseason does not guarantee another championship. They still have to have a season that's relatively injury-free for it to work out for them, Steinbrenner said. It's a long season, as you know, and once you get to the postseason, anything can happen. Except Aaron Judge hitting a home run. We've seen what? We've seen that time and time again.
I'd throw Stanton to the list, too, if he didn't have the postseason he had last year.
Yeah, Stanton was great last year. He really was. We'll see who's there at the end. When the Yankees are complaining about spending,
that's when you know it's a
there is an issue.
That's when you know it's an issue.
Okay?
Well, the Yankees are more so complaining they didn't win the World Series last year. If they won the World Series last year, they wouldn't have said a word about the Dodgers luxury tax or anything else.
Would've. Yeah, they would have. When your total deal's $500 million, he would have said something. He would have pointed out how the Yankees can do more with less.
That's a good point. Yep, that's true.
Mm-hmm. J.J. Redick second-guessed his decision to insert a rookie into the lineup against the Sixers last night.
I wondered that one. It was that early in the game, too.
114.
That was the other part of it.
The Sixers won for what? This is the third time the Sixers won this year, right? No, it's 118 to 104.
The fourth in a row for him.
And the rookie is?
His name has Bron James in it.
Bronny James.
Yeah. He inserted him awful early yesterday. And then, look, they're on the back-to-back. I get it, but yeah, that was definitely a questionable. I thought the same thing the minute I looked at it. Especially Anthony Davis goes down 10 minutes into the game. That didn't help their cause.
Maybe I put him in a tough spot, Redick said after the game. Bronny last night had an 0 for 5 night.
Yeah, he wasn't good.
With 3 turnovers in 15 minutes. Mm-hmm. Flying up yesterday, nationally televised game in Philly and all that stuff. He didn't play well, but he's been playing great in the Stay Ready games. And he's been playing great in the G League.
That's not the same.
Oh, my God.
That is not the same. Good Lord.
Oh, my God. But you know what's weird? Okay. You look at that draft last year. Do you know of any other rookie in the league and how they're playing?
No.
Out of that draft?
That draft class is bad.
No.
Yeah, draft
now Stephon Castle, they just played the Paris games. Yeah. Castle's with San Antonio. He's fine. I think Dalton Connect's been
at 16 last night when I turned it off. He was playing great.
You know, every time I watch, he's. I mean, he looks like a guy that belongs in the league.
Yeah.
James was on assignment with the South Bay Lakers, LA's G League affiliate, when the Lakers recalled him Monday to join them in the middle of their 5-game trip. The Lakers' number 55 pick in the second round in June has not played meaningful minutes for LA since opening night, when the James family became the first father-son duo in NBA history to play a game together. With backup Gabe Vincent sidelined the past 2 games, Redick gave Bronny a shot in the first quarter, with the Lakers winning 17-9. Just felt like on a back-to-back, just giving him some energy. I think it was the goal. I have confidence in him, but obviously didn't provide that at a high level. The 6'2 guard struggled immediately with Tyrese Maxey.
No, I think struggled's the understatement of the year.
Maxey ended up the game with 43.
Yep. Had 27 at halftime.
Attacking him defensively to score. And then turning it over a bad pass to Anthony Davis on offense, leading to a transition dunk. Bronny said of Maxey, quote, he's a fast guard. Really?
You never noticed that. No.
Amazing touch. Can shoot it. I was trying to stand my ground. Just trying to play as hard as I can and bring energy. I mean, the kid's in a tough spot.
No, there's no question. He's in a tough spot no matter what.
He's in a really tough spot.
Absolutely.
That is not of his doing.
No. Okay? Absolutely not.
It is not of his doing. It's not that he's not a good basketball player. He's a good basketball player. But again, when you're talking about in the NBA, 17, okay, that's 510 players in a world of 8 billion. Is he one of the 510 best basketball players in the world? No.
Not even close.
He's not.
No.
Okay? But because of his dad, the question would be if his dad wasn't LeBron James, would anybody have drafted him? Because remember, he played at USC last year, and he came off the bench and averaged 3 points a game.
Exactly.
And he was also coming off a heart
cardiac
issue.
arrest. Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, I still would say no. I did.
Right. Now, he did have, to his credit, 31 points in a G League game. And then he got called up. He said it came out of nowhere, so I was always trying to stay ready to play and always keeping my mind right. He cited growth since opening night when he closed out the second quarter against the Timberwolves with his dad. I feel like I'm a lot more prepared now. They put him out there for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, really? Now, playing in the G League's helping him. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, and playing in the G League is not... Yeah, it's not a... It is kind of a development league and a minor league to an extent for the NBA, and it helps you. From a local perspective, look at Tim Frazier.
Tim Frazier was helped tremendously.
Yeah, absolutely. It was helped tremendously there. Other guys are helped tremendously. And, there's no question it's a good thing to have that league. I'm not discrediting the G League whatsoever. That being said, you're playing that type of competition, and then you go play on the road in Philadelphia against Tyrese Maxey. That's a big difference.
Right. So there you go. Hawks Johnson to miss rest of season. Jalen Johnson. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's quick show of hands. First of all, I'm sorry he's going to miss.
Yeah.
But there's so many things in the NBA. I mean, ESPN, to their credit, they've got the contract.
They've done everything they could.
They do everything they can to cover this league. Everything. And I give them all the credit in the world for doing it. I do. Right? But most fans don't know who these people are. Atlanta is 22-25. They're ninth. Okay.
No.
Right. And they've got one of the single most self-centered stars in the league at guard.
No doubt.
Right?
Yeah. And
again, when you're out there promoting Jimmy Butler over and over and over again for years, and now you see this, I can't believe it. No, I can believe it.
No, I can fully believe it. He's done it to 3 teams now. Yeah, and the other part of it is, has the play-in round helped the NBA? Absolutely. But at this point, it's also further discredited the regular season because you're putting 20 teams now in the playoffs. So it's a big difference, I think, in a lot of ways. And people used to say with the 8 seeds that the regular season didn't matter much. Now you're adding 2 more. You're 20 teams.
Let's give credit where credit's due. Miami was an 8 seed, made the finals.
Made the
2
finals.
years ago.
Absolutely.
Lost to Denver, but they made the finals.
Made the finals, and they're the third one to do it, right? At least second one. Knicks made it. Couple years when they lost the Spurs. So that's at least 2, but
again, but they came out of the play-in round to get there, and it's a lot like when VCU, right, and Mike was a part of this. Mike came out of the play-in Dayton, right, first 4, came out of the first 4 group, made it all the way to the Final 4. So things are possible.
Yeah, but I think ultimately it's more so now from a fan's perspective. You're like, okay, if this team didn't make the playoffs, they're not very good. You're seeing 20 teams get in. That's a high number.
Well, here are the current Golden 10. Maybe not so Golden 10. Okay.
Golden's in there in the West, I think, right? They should be.
Yeah. Sixers, Toronto.
Sixers are the 10th seed now.
No.
I was
They're
going to
not.
say. Oh, Golden 10 meaning I got you.
No. These are the teams
got
that
you
are
now.
out of it.
Yep,
They're a game
yep.
behind Chicago. Sixers, Raptors, Nets, Hornets, and the Wizards are 6-39. Imagine being a season ticket holder there. In the West, Golden State,
Yeah.
San Antonio, the Portland Trailblazers, New Orleans Pelicans, and the Utah Jazz.
At least with the West, you're naming teams. Well, the Sixers, obviously, when they get their guys back. Sure, they have star power. But you're naming teams in the West.
There was a game. Let me tell you something, how backwards this league is. I know Embiid's been hurt, so let's
And George, yeah.
All right. And George is going to be out for a long period of time now, I think.
Tendon damage, so it's going to be a little bit.
Right. But there was a game like 2 weeks ago. And Dick, of course, is in touch with everything. Dick Girardi, in touch with everything that goes on in Philly. So he got the Sixers injury report, or the inactive report. The inactive report. Every single starter plus the top 3 bench guys were on the inactive report. How do you run a league that is supposed to be getting customers in the building like that?
Like that. There's no way.
How do you do that?
Yep. There's no way.
Well, the players went, no. You're under contract. Go play.
Yeah.
You're under contract to play games.
Yep.
Go play.
100%.
I mean, what are we doing here?
Yeah. I still remember people saying Michael Jordan making $40 million was absurd. Michael Jordan was underpaid compared to what the players of today are. Guy didn't miss a game either.
No.
And when he did, he was furious about it.
Yeah.
Back to 1986 when he just pushed his way into that lineup to get back in there after he broke his foot.
Yep. So, there you go. All right. So, wraps it up for today. The fact that your name appeared on 17 lines in the financial report.
Yeah. And they were all in the red, too. That's the unfortunate part of it.
17 different spots you're listed, right? And some of them were, to be honest with you, I don't know how we win when I see your name. Now, are you in tomorrow?
I don't know. I haven't been asked yet, so I assume it's Kyle tomorrow.
Golly. All right, we'll close up shop for today. You appeared in 17 lines of the financial report. You know the other spot where you seem to show up 2 or 3 times a week? The Babylon Bee. All right. What? I'll just make up the jokes as I go. Okay? Come on. Give me credit. They're all ad lib. Some of them are bad. Some of them are really good. Even you're laughing. Right? And the joke's at your expense.
That's right.